So, hi students, good afternoon everyone. Um, so, today we will start again with wines of France. Like already we have completed Bordeaux, wines of Bordeaux, wines of Burgundy, and wines of Champagne as well. We have already completed wines of Champagne. So, today we'll start with a fresh topic, wines of Rhone Valley. Um, so, good afternoon, guys, good afternoon. So, Rhone Valley. Um, we already just let me recall what we have studied in the last classes. We have studied about, we have started with the wines of France. In the wines of France, we have seen there are 13 wine producing regions in France. Among those 13 wine producing regions, the first six are the most important wine producing regions what we have studied. Bordeaux, Burgundy, Champagne, Rhone Valley, Loire Valley, and Alsace. So these are the six wine producing regions, very important regions in the country of France, and we will be uh, we are studying in all those regions, and we started with Bordeaux but very good way. And Bordeaux, we studied about the grapes, we studied about the climate, we studied about the geographical location, how the Bordeaux region is good for red wines. We studied about the grape varieties, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot blend and Sauvignon Blanc blend, everything we have seen. And we have seen, most importantly, we have seen the wine appellations. What are the wine labeling terms we have seen, and in both the what are the wine, how the what categories of the wine labelings. We have seen four types of wine labelings. Bordeaux AC we have seen, Bordeaux Superior we have seen, and Cru Bourgogne we have seen, and Cru Grand, Classe. So these four types of wine label we have seen in Burgundy, in Bordeaux region. Then we studied Burgundy. In Burgundy, one of the largest wine appellations in France, we have seen, and we have seen the grape varieties Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. the principal grape varieties we have seen in Burgundy, and also we have seen the labeling terms, how the Bourgogne AC, we have seen the Premier Cru, Grand Cru, so we have seen all the labeling terms we have seen of Burgundy, and also we have studied about the communes and subregions of Bordeaux and Burgundy. What are the subregions comes under Bordeaux, and what are the communes comes under the Bordeaux? Same when we talk about Burgundy, also we have studied the subregions and communes of Burgundy. So before I start with uh, Rhone Valley is also one of the a good wine producing region in France. So before I start with, so I will show some video of Bordeaux. I have small video for Bordeaux. So just we'll see the video of Bordeaux and Burgundy. Then we'll push off to Rhone Valley. So it's very important. Just so this is one of the commune, one of the sub-region of Bordeaux is a Poiloc sub-region, where the very famous wines comes from this region.
It's a big day of harvest. So I'm going to show you how wine is made, the state of the art wine estate.
So we don't take much time, and we will just we will see how the look at the Cabernet Sauvignon and look at the wine estate. It's called Chateau, the wine estate. Now we have seen the winery. You can see the building that is called Chateau. Chateau means the winery along with vineyards. You can see the full of vineyards, and in middle they have a wineries.
In the border region, since the winery changed ownership back in 2009, in 2014 they built.
So Chateau name mostly used in Bordeaux. You can see the
Today I'm going to show
the
you around the winery.
all vineyards, and in the middle they have a winery, the production process. Look at the Cabernet Sauvignon, and
First step to make great wine is to pick, clean,
the
and
harvesting
dry
is
berries
take
of
place.
grapes.
Look at the
The
grapes.
best way to do that is to pick them into small grapes that are stacked up here, as you can see. So this way no berry gets
See,
crushed.
maximum they are doing hand picking.
Additionally,
Hand picking
all the pickers are
results
very careful to leave any
more
grape that is
tasty and
damaged
more
out of the
quality
field.
wine
We talk
than the
rotten grapes,
mechanical
any
harvesting.
grape that doesn't look right, grapes that are burnt by the sun, this sort of problem with the grapes that are left right on the field, so they don't have to deal with it in the winery. Next step is to crush those grapes and sort them out. We're going to go and see this at the winery, which is just over there next to the chateau.
So just we have seen left bank we have a Cabernet Sauvignon, right bank we have a Merlot, the principal grape variety. But most of the red wines already we studied about Bordeaux, they go with blend. The blend of Cabernet Sauvignon and blend on the Merlot gives best result.
So here, once the grapes are harvested,
So
they
this
are
is where
refrigerated.
they
This
kept the
allows for
grapes,
two things. First,
the freshly picked grapes,
better when the
which will be
fermentation
sent for
starts, because
making
obviously
wine.
the juice is going to come out cooler. This allows to better extract color and flavor out of the grapes. The second thing, it allows to control better the flow of grapes that are coming in and when they are processed. later on, so they can select which batch gets processed at which time of the day, etc. This is relatively uncommon and obviously the best practice to make wine.
All the grapes, the stalks being plucked out, and now this going for a grading and weighing. Then it will be sent for ferment, fermentation.
Once refrigerated for 24 hours, the grapes are unloaded on a very long sorting table full of people in order to tidy up and clean up every bit of unwanted material, bits of stalks from the grapes. So we end up with very clean grapes that are the pure expression of the terroir and the fruit itself. Last but not least, the berries are transferred into small containers for a very last bit of sorting before being transferred into the fermenting tanks.
Contact with wine, so the maceration process happens.
Once the wine is all fermented, it's got its color, it's got all these flavors. It's brought down here using those elevators here, those two elevators that you can see. It's brought down here to the barrel room. This is a very quiet place. It's temperature controlled. It's the humidity is controlled. It's actually pretty chill and pretty cool in here. The wine is going to spend about 2 years in those barrels, resting, refining,
being stored in the vat,
acquiring more flavors,
the oak
dips,
wooden barrels.
also softening up.
You can see the Polyock region, the subregion name is written there. So AOC, appellation for Polyock control.
Here we are. It's time for us to leave. It's been a beautiful day.
So this is
17 here in Polyock in the Bordeaux region. I hope you've enjoyed the ride.
This is about Bordeaux. I will show the video of Burgundy also.
Make sure to subscribe. See you in
So in Bordeaux, most of the vineyards will be called, the wine estate will be called as a chateau. Chateau means the wine comes from Bordeaux, very simple. When you hear the word called coquet, something like that, maybe the wine comes from Burgundy or from Rhone Valley, something like that. But the chateau means the term is used in the Bordeaux region, where the meaning is wine estate. It's just a wine estate where the vineyards and the wineries all same together in the exact same place. That's called chateau. Quickly, I will share you the next video. That is the wine, the production of wines, the wines of Burgundy. So you will easily understand, you will get connect.
This is the moment of truth in Burgundy. A year has passed since the last harvest, like thousands more before them. But no two growing seasons are ever the same. Pickers need to act. Temperatures are dropping.
So this is
The water will swell the
the
grapes,
Burgundy
diluting their
region.
delicate
You can see the
flavors.
Pinot Noir.
Or worse, rot will shrivel the berries.
The
This
Pinot
is
Noir
the
is
drama of
mostly
winemaking
is
in one of the world's greatest
thin
regions.
skin grape, not a thick skin grape. Pinot
Burgundy.
Noir is very thin skin. So we know the principal grapes, Pinot Noir for red and white we have a Chardonnay. So these are the two major principal grape varieties from Burgundy region.
This is one stop along an ancient thoroughfare that ran from Paris down to Lyon and on to Italy. Through the centuries, these streets served a wine industry that catered to the wealthy and influential of Europe. Travelers shared their stories of the great wines of Burgundy and furthered its reputation, which lives on today. Beaune, a medieval city that was once the capital of Burgundy. The city's history is preserved at the Hotel Dieu.
This region is beyond. We have a two region in Burgundy. If you remember, we talk about Côte d'Ivoire. In Côte d'Ivoire, they have a region called Côte d'Ivoire. So now, this what you are seeing, this place is Côte d'Ivoire. So one of the very famous wine producing region, wine producing commune, you can say, in Burgundy region. So this is the place, exact same place. You can see the Pinot Noir. So Pinot Noir is a very thin skin grape. It's not a thick skin like a Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's a medium tannin level, not a rich tannin level like Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon have a lot of tannin, but Pinot Noir has the medium tannin level. And also the flavors of between the Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Noir. Cabernet Sauvignon is having a lot of black fruit flavors. When you talk about Pinot Noir, they have a lot of red fruit flavors. Okay, so this is the major difference between Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Noir.
The early monks observed and codified the specific geological and climatic conditions of Burgundy and cultivated plots of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in small walled vineyards. That's why today, Burgundy is still a patchwork of individual plots that have been passed down.
You can see the slopes. The Côte means slope. So that's why they called as Côte d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivoire. So Côte means a slopes area. So mostly Burgundy, it's a slope, area. You can see in the video. So full of slopes.
C'est la terre, c'est le sol, c'est l'exposition, c'est la vigne. Ce sont tous les facteurs qui vont donner le caractère au vin.
The term of climat has always been used to designate a place where you make wine, a place with a certain limits, and producing a wine with a certain taste.
It explains something about the underground, the exposure, the altitude, but each thing adds something to the expression.
If it grows on a rocky soil, the wine has a certain taste. If it's on a clayey soil with a lot of clay, the taste is different. To sun exposure, so which is why wine will taste different if it's grown in different places.
What I find remarkable about Pinot Noir is how more than any other grape, its expression will change depending on where
You
it
can
is
see
grown.
the grape.
It's part of the reason
Pinot
why
Noir.
a small region can produce more than 60,000 different labels each year from only 2 grape varieties. This is beautiful.
Yes, well, we are above the village of Pernan-Bergelès on the plateau called Frétille, and the vineyard you look just underneath here is called Sous Frétille.
This is wine scholar Jean-Pierre Renard, a Burgundy expert. Overlooking the slopes of the Côte de Beaune, you can see the individual vineyard plots.
When you look here and you see this valley with a slope on the right, a slope on the left, with a different exposure and also with different type of soil and subsoil, you understand that the wine can be a little bit different. If you grow Pinot Noir on a very hard, compact limestone soil, it will be very fine and delicate but with a lack of structure. You need clay, you need limestone, you need pebbles. In Burgundy, those parameters change from 1 meter to the next meter.
If we look at the soil here, you see those white stone. This is limestone. The roots of the vineyard is in the limestone. When limestone degrades, it becomes clay, and vineyard loves two things, stone, so dry soil, and clay.
Let me explain how vineyard location can impact quality. Burgundy's classification system is based on soil structure, sun exposure, and climatic conditions. The vines stretch from the flat areas up the slopes on this limestone escarpment. In the flat vineyards, they grow primarily the regional and village
This is
wines.
very important.
On
You
the
can
steep
see this,
hillsides are the
the
Premier Cru.
Burgundy wine classification.
Here the soils
The
are
slope
thinner,
area,
and the
how
wines
the
take on
slope area
specific
makes
character of
different
vineyards.
in the quality of wines.
Best
The
locations,
Bourgogne you can
the
see,
designated
then
Grand
Little
Cru,
Slope Village, then
the
Premier
finest
Cru,
expression
then
of
Grand
Burgundy's
Cru,
Pinot
then
Noir.
Premier Cru. So the slopes helps
A lot
the
of people
winds
may
to
be
get the
intimidated by
sunlight.
the choice and abundant
If you
variety
see the
of wine
flattened one,
styles that
flattened
Burgundy
you will
offers.
not get
The
proper
appellation
sunlight,
system
you
is
know,
a hierarchy of
for the
variations
winds.
in texture,
If the
aromas,
slopes,
and
the
flavors.
slopes is little height,
Understanding the
little
appellation
higher
system
than
for the
the
quality
flat
wines of
area,
France does
so the
not need to be
easily the
complicated.
sunlight can
For the wines
directly
of
on the
Burgundy, I like
winds.
to think of a
So this is
pyramid.
the major difference.
At the base
You
level
can
of the
see this
pyramid,
map.
we have the regional wines.
The
They vary both
Burgundy
types.
wine
They can be
classification,
red
the
or they can be
bottom,
white.
the
That
basic
accounts
level
for
is
about
Bourgogne.
50%
Bourgogne
of
is
the
the
total
standard
production.
level of
Move up a
wine.
level, we have
Then
the
the
village,
second quality
wines
is
from
village.
specific villages. A level higher,
Then the
it's called Premier
third
Cru.
one is
And
Premier
at the
Cru.
very
It's
top
the
of our
first cru.
pyramid, we have
And the
Grand
final
Cru,
one is Grand
which
Cru.
accounts for only
So
2%
Grand Cru is a
of the total
very
wines
very
produced in the
rare.
region.
Only 2% of the wines of the Grand Cru wines in Burgundy wines. If you calculate total Burgundy wines, only 2% of Grand Cru wines being produced. So first we are seeing the Bourgogne AC is a very normal and
This
basic
historic
quality
domain in
AOC
the
wines.
Côte de Nuit
Then we have a
produces
villages,
arguably
and
the
then
world's
we have a
greatest
Premier
wine.
Cru, and we have a Grand
The
Cru.
climat of this
So these
vineyard is
are the
perfectly suited for
hierarchy,
the finicky Pinot Noir.
the classification of
It's the
Burgundy
standard against
wine
which all
appellations.
others are judged.
So the wine labeling is very
One of the
important.
finest places in the world to grow
As you
Pinot
know
Noir
that
can be
each
found
have a
up here.
different price,
On a
different
small parcel
characteristics,
of land,
and
only a
different
few
qualities,
hundred
everything
bottles of
different.
wine can be produced each year. This is Romanée-Conti.
It was first planted by the Abbey of Saint-Vivant in the Middle Ages and came into the possession of the Prince of Conti in 1760. He understood its value and kept all the wine for his own consumption.
This is Latache 91. That is one
So
of
you can
my
see the color of the wine.
preferred.
It's not dark.
What's it?
It's black. You see the red color. Okay. The color of the Pinot Noir is red. It's not that much
It's a wine that
black.
has 20.
The flavors also it's
2 years.
full of red
Still,
fruit flavors.
It's not old.
It's not like a
Not
dark
old.
notes. We don't have get any dark notes,
Monsieur
but you can
Aubert
see
de
the color,
Villeneuve is
the
co-director
color difference
of the
between
domaine de
Cabernet. So
la
it's very
Romanée
dark.
Conti.
But
For over
when you
40
talk about
years,
Pinot
he
Noir,
has
it's
guided
very
this estate and worked
red
to
color.
enhance its reputation.
It's a grape that was born here. Pinot Noir was born in the east of France. We don't know exactly where, but in this area. The first vigneron who used
Okay, I
a
think
number
that
of
is-
other varieties found out
I
that
think
Pinot,
that's fine.
Pinot
Then
Noir was
we will start with our class. Just I want to show this video before we go into. I will show a small clippings and videos of every wine region. So whatever I teach, you can easily connect with that video, and it is easy for you to understand what exactly is happening in France or in winemaking, whatever. So that's what I want to show a small video clippings of every wine regions. Definitely we'll see. Now we'll go study about the he's just tasting the grape in the slopes. You can see the soil, it's full of pebbles. You can see the pebbles. It's full of stones, small stones, pebbles. So quickly we'll move to Rhone Valley. So we will start with Rhone Valley, and just give me a minute. If you have doubt, you can ask me. I hope you can see the presentation now. You can see me as well. Fine. So let's start with wines of Rhone Valley. Um, of course, yes, Bordeaux, Burgundy are superior quality wines, and one of the finest wines comes from Bordeaux, Burgundy. We studied the largest appellations and largest wine producers in the world, and largest wine producers in France. And also we studied about Champagne. Champagne, though we know it's a home of sparkling wines, and it's a home of the most prestigious sparkling wine called Champagne. So now moving to wines of Rhone Valley. So Rhone Valley is also one of the important wine producing region where we get some lot of good wines comes from Rhone. Um, quickly we'll go. We'll see one by one. So the one of the most prominent areas of red wine production in the country. It's not only producing red wine, but the most of the this Rhone producing good red wines. Okay, and 100 million gallons of wines being produced annually. Every year they are producing 100, approximately 100 million gallons of wine. And the majorly the region is divided into two sub-regions. Okay, like Bordeaux we have Medoc, Poiloc, Saint Julian, something we have seen, and in Burgundy we have seen Beaujolais, and we have seen Côte d'Ivoire. These are the Chablis. We have seen these sub-regions. So same like Rhone Valley has divided into. Please understand very clearly. Please follow me. If you have any doubt, please ask me, because these are the very very important subjects. So the Rhone Valley divided into two major subregions. One is called Southern Rhone, another one is Northern Rhone. Very simple. Um, we all know why it's called Rhone Valley. It's a river, the name called Rhone River, and it flows from Switzerland to Mediterranean, connecting few cities in between like Lyon, Vienne, Valence, Avignon. So these are the cities been covered by this Rhone River, and it flows from Swiss to Mediterranean Sea. It merged with the Mediterranean Sea, the river. So Rhone Valley is very simple. It has a two main subregions. One is Northern Rhone, another one is Southern Rhone. And they started producing wine since Roman Empire period. Okay, we studied about wines of France, the history of French wines. We studied 3 4 days before. So the Roman Empire period, one of the most important period for the development of the wines in the country of France and Italy and all those areas. And then 1863 it got struck by phylloxera of Asterix. The phylloxera of Asterix occurred in 1863. So that was a time little bit the wine business got stuck because of the huge spread of the phylloxera. Then after 1935 the appellation being launched, the AOC being launched, and trust me, the Rhone Valley produced launched the first AOC wine in French Union, in the France, the first AOC wine being recorded, that is comes from Rhone Valley. The name of the AOC is called Chateau of the Pope. So Chateau of the Pope is one of the most premier red wine from the Rhone Valley. In fact, it comes from southern Rhone. Chateau of the Pope is one of the very you can Google it. You can easily Google it. So one of the most quality red wine in the world, Chateau of the Pope. So when you when you talk about Rhone Valley and uh, southern Rhone and northern Rhone, two regions are there. I already told you in the previous classes. All the regions, all the communes, all the sub-regions are producing wines. There is no doubt at all. All the regions, all the communes, all the sub-regions are producing wines. There is no doubt. But all the regions, all the wines cannot be considered the best quality wines. So you have to understand one thing. All the wines cannot be called as the best quality wines. So when you talk about Rhone Valley, we have a southern Rhone, we have a northern Rhone. When you compare with southern Rhone, northern Rhone stands high for producing the best quality wines than the southern Rhone. Let me repeat again. We have a two regions. One is southern Rhone, one is northern Rhone. So northern Rhone always it stands high, higher than the southern Rhone in producing good quality wines. There is a reason behind this. In northern Rhone, the most of the areas are the steep hillside areas. Most of the areas are hillside area, the steep side. So the one is there is no chance of mechanical harvesting. Number one, and that should be hand picking only, because there is no possibility of taking that mechanical you know to get this harvesting done. And the sunlight flows directly onto the bins. So these are the main reasons, and of course it's very expensive. So these are the better qualities. But when you talk about southern is a it's a coastal area kind of. It's flat, and it's a flat area. It's a wide area, and there are a lot of big stones available. Big stones available in all the southern part of the vineyards. So what happens in the please understand very clearly. In the daytime, the sun absorbs all the heat. The stone absorbs all the heat, and in the night time it releases all the heat to the plants. So this what happened in southern Rhone. So both of the wine producing regions are good, but when you compare with the northern Rhone with southern Rhone, northern Rhone little bit higher quality in producing good quality wines. Its standard is little higher than the southern Rhone. If you ask me. So moving to grapes, the grapes of Rhone Valley. What are the grapes available in the Rhone Valley? One is the Syrah. Syrah is the one of the most. This is what we studied in the class itself. Already we have studied. Syrah is one of the most principal grape variety from Rhone Valley, and I hope you all know that the same variety is called Shiraz, which is principal grape variety in Australia. So very simple. The same name Syrah is in Rhone Valley. We call it as Syrah. The same grape variety, which is available, which is comes from Australia, that is called Shiraz, one of the most important primary grape variety in Australia. So having said that, so Syrah is medium full body wines. It gives wine from medium to full body with the flavors. If you can see the flavors of pepper, smoky, grilled meat, olive, and lavender aromas. So these are the most common flavors of Syrah. Syrah is the dominant grape variety in northern Rhone, and minority component of blended red wines in southern Rhone. In northern Rhone, Syrah is the major dominating grape variety. But if you go for southern part, Syrah will be used as a very limit, very less number, and it will be used for blending. So when you're doing the blending, and the Syrah will be used as a less component, it's not that dominate like a northern Rhone. I'm telling you very clearly. So Syrah is Syrah is mostly Syrah is the dominant grape variety in northern Rhone. But at the same time, Syrah available in southern Rhone also. But it available for blending, and this blend also you will have a very less number of quantity than because southern Rhone is a different one. And fresh acidity and silky tannins aged in large old oak barrels. That's very important. It's always aged in old oak barrels. Okay. Some manufacturers now they have started trying the new oak barrels also, but traditionally it aged in old oak barrels. The second most important grape is Grenache. In other terms, they will call it Garnacha. So Grenache is a red fruit characteristics and herbal tones of thyme and rosemary and rustic notes of leather and saddle. So these are the common flavors of Grenache. Grenache is against a dominant grape variety in southern Rhone, and it's a in southern Rhone. It's one of the major component of blended red wines in southern Rhone. So whereas we studied Syrah is the major dominating grape variety in northern Rhone. When we talk about southern Rhone, Grenache is the major component, dominating grape variety. Even it's the blended red wines, the Grenache grape will be the major component. Blended wines, maybe Syrah and other grapes comes in a lesser, quantity. So rarely available in northern Rhone. Yes, I told you, and higher in alcohol and lower in tannin. When you compare with Syrah, the tannin level is very less than the Syrah, because Syrah grape is little thicker grape than the Grenache, and thicker than Grenache. So if it thick means the tannin level is high. I told it's a silky tannins. It's little high, and with Grenache the tannin level is little less than the Syrah. Again, it is also aged traditionally in old oak barrels, which is very large. Viognier is one of the white grape variety which comes from Rhone Valley, both available in both regions, and this is one of the white wine grape variety. It is intense floral and peachy, and very good in the palate. There's the other two white grapes are there, Marsanne and Rosanne. This mostly goes blended. Marsanne and Rosanne is often blended. It's a medium to full bodied, waxy textured white wines with aromas of apricot and almonds and parsnip. Parsnip is a fruit like a turnip. Sorry, it's a vegetable. It's a root vegetable like a turnip. Parsnip is a vegetable. So this Marsanne, this Rosanne is mostly is a blended grape varieties, and it goes maximum blended, and it produce some some good white wines. So we have seen the four major principal grape varieties, sorry, five. So Martharin Rossoni is a blend. So we have seen five, principal grape varieties. If you ask me, sir, these are the only grape varieties available in Rhone Valley. No, it is not. There are some other grape varieties. Every region have a local domestic grown grape varieties which are not very famous outside of the region, maybe outside of the commune, maybe not outside of the sub-region. So every place there are local domestic grape varieties available, and it's not that much famous, but still if you talk about the particular region, particular commune, the grapes helps in making a wine. So we will see in Rhone also, we have some local grape varieties we will study in the region wise. So as of now, basically there are five grape varieties, principal grape varieties. The main two grape varieties, Syrah and Grenache. Syrah very dominating in northern Rhone, and Grenache is very dominating in southern Rhone. Then we have Viognier. Viognier is the principal white grape variety, and we have Mastane and Rosane. These two grape varieties are the often blended white grape varieties. So if you can see the map, this is the map of northern Rhone. It's full of steep areas. This is all steep, hillside. It's not a flat. It's full of hillside. Um, you get this the Cote di Roti, Condrieu. These are all the wine producing areas, communes you can say. So when you talk about the northern Rhone, we are just we know that there are two subregions. One is northern Rhone, another one is southern Rhone. So we coming to northern Rhone. As I already told you, northern Rhone is very small. It's smaller than in southern Rhone. Southern Rhone is very wide, and it's a very huge. But northern Rhone is very smaller than southern Rhone. Um, Better vineyards or planted in the steep, in terraced granite hillsides. You can see that words. It's a very high steep and hill stations. And granite hillsides. These are the one of the main reasons where the why the northern Rhone producing some better quality wines in France. The climate is continental climate, and it's still but even it is steep, even it is it's a hillside, but still the climate is warmer than the Bordeaux and Burgundy, and it's very suitable climate for planting Syrah. Syrah grows very well in this climate because that sunlight can be direct sunlight, and all northern Rhone red are made by Syrah. Whatever the red wines comes from northern Rhone, technically it has to be made by Syrah grape, the principal red grape. Very few appellations allowed a small percentage of white blend. Very small, grape Syrah can be used to blend with white. Apart from that, all the red wines made by Syrah. So you can see the steep areas. This is the how the northern Rhone vineyards planted are located. All steep and hillside where the mechanism is not possible. All have to be done by manually. Thus gives best result to produce good quality wines when you compare with southern Rhone. So northern Rhone is one of the best wine. So when we talk about the best appellations of northern Rhone, AOC, the normally the northern Rhone AOC wines called as a northern Rhone AOC. In that, uh, there are certain communes with the names of there are places where the best quality wines being produced. Number one is Hermitage. Hermitage is the premier AOC region, and it's a very high hill steep area, and white wine and red wine being produced. Both red wines also produced and white wine also produced. The second one is Crozet Hermitage, and this is one of the northern Rhone's the largest and at the same time ordinary appellation, not like Hermitage. Hermitage is the premier variety, flatter land and flanking the hill. It's just below the hill, the land a little flatter. Okay, not like a Hermitage. Hermitage is a full steep on hill, but Crow's Hermitage is little flatter, and of course, Crow's Hermitage also producing white wines and red wines. There is no doubt. The third is Cote Roti. So the Cote Roti is on the roasted slope, south of Vienne. Vienne is the city, and the south of the city on the roasted slope. It's a very topmost slope area. Syrah can be co-fermented with a small amount of Viognier. So here, the Viognier can be co-fermented with Syrah, but Syrah is very limited, very less amount, 20%. Sorry, the Viognier is very less amount, only 20% of Viognier can be used for co-fermentation or the blending process. The most important, Kote Roti is produced only red wine. This is only red wine region comes from northern Rhone. The fourth one is Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph is similar to Crozet Hermitage, one of the largest again AOC region. It's a very good introduction region, basic wine producing region, basic wine, basic quality wines you will get in Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph AOC is the basic quality wine, not like a Koteruti, not like a Hermitage. And they are also using Marsane and Rasone added for co-fermentation. So 10 percentage in Koteruti we saw 20% Viognier can be blended with Syrah, and in Saint Joseph we can see 10 percentage of Marsane and Rasone can be added as a blend. And Saint Joseph also producing white and red wine combinedly. Corna. So Corna is the fifth appellation. This is the smallest red appellation. Comes from northern Rhone. Wines are traditional rustic and slow to develop in the bottle. And 100% Syrah. Imagine 100% Syrah. In Cote Roti, you have 20% Viognier. In Saint Joseph, you have 10% of Marsone and Resone. But in Corna, 100% Syrah. There are no other grape varieties been planted. Only Syrah. So obviously, this is only red wine region. The red they produce Corna produce only red wine, not white wine. When you talk about Kandriu is smallest wine production appellation in northern Rhone, very small. This is Viognier region. So same like Syrah, Corna produce only Syrah, and Kandriu only producing Viognier, white wine. So the region produced only white wine. So no red wines possible here. So basically we have seen the major appellations. I'm repeating again the major appellations. One is Hermitage. The second one is Cross Hermitage. Hermitage is the one of the premier AOC wine, and the third one is Koteroti. Koteroti is also one of the very good AOC red wine, and the fourth one is Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph is one of the ordinary region like Crozet Hermitage, where it is produced both red wines and white wines. And the fifth one is Corna. Corna is one of the premier red wine region, very smallest red appellation, and only 100% is Syrah. Only red wine is being produced in Corna region. When you talk about Condrieu is again smallest white appellation, very small, and it produce um, the Viognier white grape variety, and it produce only white wine. It's a white wine region or sub-region or commune, whatever. So these are the wines. The major, the Saint Joseph is the big one. You can see Corna is a very small one. It's a high steep area, Corna, and you can see the Crozet Hermitage is also is like a Saint Joseph. But in Crozet Hermitage, there is a Hermitage is there. Hermitage is a little steep, and very premium quality wine comes from. You can see comes from uh, Hermitage. Then in top you can see Condrieu, and again top you can see Koteroti. Koter is the highest top. It's the toppest one. It is very toppest one, which producing a good quality red wines. Okay, so this is about southern northern Rhone. Now you see the southern Rhone, very flat. There is no hills, there is no steep planting, there is no plantation in steeps on hills, nowhere. It's full of wide and flat. The area is very flat, one of the the most important point, and it's full of, it's a wide region, it's a coastal and a lot of winds will be all the times you will get the winds, and it's one of the coastal climates, maritime climate you can say. So Rhone River is passes through the Montélimar, and it's a valley, is very flattened valley, and it's a very wide valley, as I told you already. They have a common flavor, and in the valley has lavender, rosemary, thyme, and all these things. The climate is Mediterranean climate, which I told you. The climate is Mediterranean. The landscape is much flatter. One of the most important point. This is the difference between the Rhone Valley, Northern Rhone and Southern Rhone. Northern Rhone is full of steep hills, but here landscape is flat, and they have soils. They have sand, gravel, clay. They have, and you see here the 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 stones, the big stones, the largest stones available in the southern Rhone vineyards. What happened? These stones storing the heat, releasing it warm at the in the night. Can you see the difference? The stones, the stones, taking the heat in the morning, in the daytime, from the direct sunlight, and it is releasing at the night in the to the winds, to all the vineyards, to all the plants. So so what happens is too much sun, okay, produces nearly 95% of the entire region wines. Most of the southern region, the hectare, you can see out of 100 hectare, there are 95 percentage hectare been it's a vineyards. 95% of the area is used for cultivating grapes, and almost all the grapes are red. The nearly all of it is red. Of course, there is some blend grapes also there. Blends are common. Grenache is usually dominant grape. Whatever the blends happening, Grenache will be the dominant blend. The same like in Northern Rhone, there are few blends are there. We have seen 20% of Viognier is there, so the remaining 80% Syrah. 10 percentage Marsanne and Rassone was there. Then 90 percentage is Syrah. So this is the Northern Rhone. When you talk about Southern Rhone, so Southern Rhone, it's mostly Grenache is the dominant grape variety. Grenache is the most planted red grape, and of course they have. I told you, apart from those principal grape varieties, they have other local varieties. So Movidor is one of the local grape variety which will be which been cultivated, which been cultivated in um, which been cultivated in southern Rhone, Movidor and sin salt. Can you see the sin salt here? So what happens here? Grenache is one of the most important grape variety in southern Rhone. Okay. Apart from that, they have a less number of Movidor, Syrah also they have, and sin salt also they have. These all they have for the blending purpose. For the sorry, these are all known as blending purpose. So these wines, southern wines, they also made by blend of Movidor, Syrah, Sinsol. But keep in mind the major quality, the major wine comes from Grenache. The Grenache is the most dominant grape variety in southern Rhone. Like in northern Rhone, we have seen Syrah. So this is southern Rhone region. If you see the region, you can see the region of southern Rhone. So when you talk about the southern Rhone AOC, first one is I already told you, already discussed with you, the Chatun of the Pope. The southern Rhone AOC is Chatun of the Pope, one of the most one of the most uh, important, one of the premier red wine comes from Rhone Valley, especially southern Rhone. So Chateau of the Pope is one of the most premier AOC region. It's best for full body red wines, and Grenache is the principal grape, traditionally aged in old oak, and Chateauneuf du Pape producing both red wines and white wines. But the famous wine comes from Chateauneuf du Pape, is Chateauneuf, one of the full body red wine. And Côte d'Iron is the second village. More than two-thirds of the Rhone Valley wines are released as a Côte d'Iron. So if you take the more areas, the more areas being produced by Côte d'Iron, and basic quality wine produced throughout the Rhone Valley. It's a basic quality. It's a, like it's a basic normal quality wines produced like Saint Joseph we have seen in the northern Rhone, and Close Hermitage we have seen in the northern Rhone. So it's a basic similar to that. Most of the wine is red, although white wines and red wines, sorry, white wines and rosé wines been permitted. Here I am talking about rosé wine. Rosé wines, North Southern Rhone is also producing rosé wine by Grenache grape. Grenache grape is the best grape for making rosé wine also. So there are some rose wines comes from Southern Rhone, which you need to keep in mind. Okay, so third one is Côte d'Iron villages. So first one we have seen Chateau of the Pope. Second one is Côte d'Iron, and third one is Côte d'Iron villages. Here there are 18 communes have come under this category, and Grenache is minimum 40 percentage, and it should be there, and remaining can be Syrah or Mourvedre, and other principal grape varieties can be there. uh, there are other white grapes also. You can see the Bourbillon, Clarete, Grenache Blanc, Raisonne, Masson, Viognier, so Agni Blanc. So these are the local varieties. Local varieties of the white grapes can be also used in these villages. So I'm repeating again. These Côte d'Iron villages. These are the 18 villages comes under this category, and whatever the wine producing will be named as Côte d'Iron villages. And the minimum it should be, if you are making a wine, the wine should be made by minimum 40 percentage of the Grenache. That is the rule. We have to follow that, then only you will get the appellation. So minimum 40 percentage of the grape should be the Grenache grape, and rest you can use the Syrah, you can use the Mourvedre, you can use the local varieties, you can use that. The fourth one is Tawal. Tawal is the only appellation in France exclusively for rosé wines. I told you, the Southern Rhone is very good for rosé wines also. So the exclusive rosé wine appellation in the entire France is Tawal commune. The wines contain 60% of Grenache minimum. uh, Maximum it should have a 60% of Grenache, and remaining it can be other grape varieties. And the alcohol is 13.5 percentage maximum, not exceeding 13.5. It's very good dry rosé wine. Vancouver is one of the usually red wine region in southern Rhone. Wines are usually red, and of course they are also producing small white and rosé. A minimum 50 percentage Grenache should be required for the making red wine. So these are the rules. These are the regulations and norms which they have to follow to get the appellation. Otherwise, they will not get it. If they are not using 50% Grenache, suppose if they are using only 40% Grenache, then this wine cannot come under that category, Côte d'Iron villages. So this is very important. Why they are mentioning the particular percentage? The alcohol should be minimum 12.5 ABV for the red wines if you're producing from Vancouver's region. Thus, another one is Gigonda. So Gigondo is red and rose wine region. The red wines contains 50% Grenache and minimum 15% combined Syrah and Mourvedre. So the rest you can use any wine. So if you are making a wine in Gigondo, in the region, so if you are making a red wine, so you should have minimum 50% Grenache grape and then 15 percentage minimum of combined syrah and mobidir you need to produce. This is one of the most important regulations. And they have other local varieties also there. The wines are very similar to Chatham of the Perp. It's very good, red wine, full body red wine, if you can say, because Chatham of the Perp is very good example for full body red wine. 12.5 percentage minimum alcohol required for red wines. 12.5 percentage you can, it's a alcohol required for this red wine. So selling Rhone wines, we are about to complete this Rhone Valley. Selling Rhone wines, Northern Rhone Syrah is a great accompaniment for savory dishes. You can always suggest for aromatic herbs, spices, black pepper, rosemary, thyme, and you can also this wine goes well with these flavors dishes. It doesn't work as with spices that add heat like a ham, like a lamb. It will not go with the lamb. It will not go with some meat products like which gives heat. Southern Rhone red can be concentrated wines, and Chateau of the Perp is one of the very good example which contains higher alcohol and full body red wine, which is one of the best quality wine comes from Southern Rhone. So young Rhone red wines goes well with it's very good like Bordeaux wines, and it's Bordeaux wines are very good. Same like young Rhone red wines also very good, and rosé wines very good for spring and summer. These are seasonal drinks, and Tavel is producing one of the best rose wine in the France. You can try that also, and Rhone whites also very good. It's oily texture, lower acidity, and it's give lot of flavor like a Chardonnay, and like other wines comes from Bordeaux or Burgundy, and Rhone whites also good. So basically, uh, this is about Rhone Valley. So Rhone Valley is when you talk about Bordeaux, Burgundy, Rhone Valley. Rhone Valley is, of course, one of the best, wine producing region, next to Bordeaux and Burgundy. Two very important aspects in the Rhone Valley. One is Southern Rhone and Northern Rhone. Both are good wine producing region, but still there are few differences are there between Southern Rhone and Northern Rhone. And Northern Rhone is very steep and everything hillside, so producing good quality wines. Southern Rhone is very flat, but still they're producing Chatham of the Pub, and they're producing good rosé wines. So these are the major difference between these two regions, and I hope you have understand the topic Rhone Valley. And today we are able to complete the Rhone Valley. So tomorrow we'll talk about Lower Valley and Alsace. So two more regions are there. Tomorrow possibly we'll complete this Lower Valley and Alsace, and keep studying the subject. If you have any doubts, please note down the doubts. Then you send message. I can clarify your doubts, and keep following up the subject. Otherwise, you will be missed if you don't attend. Even one class. I hope you all staying safe, and take care, guys. Stay safe. So we will be soon. We'll see tomorrow with next topic called Lower Valley and Alsace. Until then, bye bye. See you. Take care.